What if editing your world was as simple as speaking it? What if you could take any image, a character, a product, or even a full scene, and edit it like magic? Change the hair, the outfit, the lighting, even combine 6 different images into one masterpiece, all without ever opening an editing app. Take a crowded photo and instantly clear it. Swap a dull sky for a perfect sunset. Remove an object that ruins the shot, gone in seconds. But it doesn't stop at the practical. With one line of text, a street can fill with dragons, a garden can bloom into alien flora, and a portrait can become a legendary hero. This is Nano Banana, Google's new image model, now integrated into 2 of my favorite AI tools, Leonardo AI and Pixverse. It's fast, it's powerful, and it's about to change the way creators edit forever. Hi, I'm Jessica with the Real AI Agents, and I want you to step into the network with me, and let's discover AI editing with Nano Banana together. So first things first, let's take some images and do some editing inside of Leonardo AI. In order to use Nano Banana in here, all you have to do is come over to your image generation, and up where it allows you to choose the model, just go ahead and choose Nano Banana here. I will mention when they added Nano Banana, they also added Ideogram 3, and I do have a video coming out about all of the new updates and models inside of Leonardo, so be sure you stay tuned for that. But we're going to go ahead and select Nano Banana here, and I'm going to upload one of the images that I would like to alter. So let's go ahead and choose this image reference here, and we're going to start with one, but I'm going to show you what happens when you add multiple here in just a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and come in, and I have an image of a city street here that I'm going to go ahead and pull in. And for this one, let's go ahead and add in some dragons and a little bit of an ethereal vibe to this city here. So you can see I'm just going to go ahead and put in this prompt here. And you will notice that you have the options to do the prompt enhance and which style you want. I tend to leave mine on creative, especially when I'm changing things up. So I'm going to go ahead and choose creative. You'll see that it costs 40 tokens to generate each time. So I do want to note that while Nano Banana is really cool to use inside of Leonardo, it can burn your tokens up very quickly. So I recommend using this once you have an image that you're ready to alter. I wouldn't use this necessarily to generate images to start off with. So let's go ahead and we'll just generate one of those. And there we go. We've taken our city street exactly as it was with the tall buildings. It's got the people walking around. It's changed the houses to the kind of rustic cottage, medieval kind of residence. And then it brought in the dragons up here. So very cool there on that. And the nice thing is inside of Leonardo, you can just go ahead and hit this upscale to upscale your image. So let's go ahead and do that just so that we can compare that really quick. While that upscale is working, let's go ahead and try something else. So I'm going to bring in just a plain beach scene here. There's no characters or anything on this image. It's just the beach you can see. And I'm just going to put in a very simple prompt. Make it a stormy day at the beach. Now, if I turn the prompt enhance on, you'll see that just like Leonardo normally does, it changes my short, simple prompt there to a more detailed prompt full of different things that are going to cause the image to be a little bit different. So that's why I've been leaving the prompt enhance off. We can see here with the prompt enhance off and my simple prompt, it came out with that actual beach. It's got a little bit of a light tracer here that I probably don't need in this image. And it did kind of give the image a little bit of like a torn photo kind of look, but that was a very simple prompt just to show you the difference between the prompt enhance on and the prompt enhance off right now. So you can see when I turn the prompt enhance on, that doesn't even look like the beach picture that I put in to alter at all. So that's why I've been choosing to leave the prompt enhance off. One really cool use case that I found for Nano Banana inside of Leonardo is to come in and when you have an image that maybe you have a photo bomb in or something like that, you can actually come in and take this photo, for instance. For some reason, there's a random guy walking through the fountain behind them Right here you can see him. So all I need to do to remove that photo bomber there is just say something like, remove the person walking in the background, clean up the fountain area, brighten the lighting for a polished group portrait, keeping all 6 friends in sharp detail, natural and realistic edit. And once I go ahead and run that, you can see there the guy is gone. It did add a little bit of an artistic flair back here into the image inside of the fountain, which is fine. I ran it one more time just to see how it would come out, and I ended up with this shot here. So you can see for a quick edit of removing the actual person from the background, how well of a job it did. If you've ever tried to edit an image like inside of Canva or something where you remove an object, sometimes it will blur the image behind where that object was, and it just looks really messy and it takes more time to fix it up. So to be able to do this inside of here has been a huge time saver. You can also remove people altogether. So let's come over and let's just do an image we'll create here together that we can use to edit. Something like a crowded village street in a medieval village. Okay, so now we can see a simple drawing here of the crowded street with all the people in the village. I can go ahead and use that image now. So I'm going to put a prompt in and then I'm going to add that image back in. Oops, I forgot to change the model. So let's go back to Nano Banana here. We've got the prompt in. Let's go ahead and turn the prompt enhance off. That's why it's important to always check your settings when you're going to create. That way you're not wasting tokens like I would have just done. So let's go ahead and hit the little image reference here and let's bring in that generation that we just made of that crowded medieval village. You'll notice that in the prompt, I actually added the street should appear seamless as if it was always empty. That seems to be an important line to put in when you're removing things from an image, just so that it's in painting correctly the details that are left behind where those people would have been. So let's go ahead and run that and see what it gives us here. There's a ton of different programs that have integrated Nano Banana into them. So this is just one way that you can access and use it, but you'll get similar results no matter where you use it. I've found that I get the best results inside of the Google AI Studio, but this is so helpful to never have to leave the Leonardo program when I'm editing images. So we can see here, it literally did remove all of the people and painted what the village would look like around there. So it added some details that we wouldn't have seen in the crowded street when those people were there. You can tell it is still the same village. Much of the same details are going on. It did add a couple of flags back here, but that could just be to draw away from the attention of the empty street there. But it certainly is the same village street. Let's try going back to the beach image that we had here. And let's say we want this beach to be on an alien world. If I put in a prompt, something like this one here. Now remember, on our beach image, we have the sandy beach, we've got the water, we've got the waves kind of receding back here, we've got the palm trees, we've got some underbrush. Now look at how it took this image here and the exact same thing. We've got the underbrush, we've got the palm trees, we've got the waves rolling in, the water receding back a little bit, the sand here, but it is definitely on an alien world there. And just to show you, I'm using creative, but we could use any of these other styles that we want. So for example, let's say I'd like to do this in a watercolor version. I can select watercolor. And this is something that you can't do, obviously, if you use Nano Banana in other systems. So I do find this very helpful when I'm trying to change up the style of how I want it to look. So you can see, again, the palm trees, the underbrush, it added a couple other structures here, but it is the exact same beach, only in a watercolor format there. So it is very nice to be able to take my original cinematic image here, very photorealistic image of the beach, and turn it into an ethereal, otherworldly type image with just one try. I'm not running these over and over again and cherry picking the best ones. We're doing this together for a reason because I want you to see how simple this AI editing of images is now that Nano Banana has been integrated into Leonardo. If you've been with the channel for a while, you know I've used Leonardo since the beginning of my own personal AI journey with creating, marketing, and using it in my free time for fun, creative AI projects that I share with you guys. So to be able to completely reformat some of my old designs and fix things that I didn't like about certain images inside of Nano Banana with one prompt editing has been absolutely amazing. So let's go ahead and change this back so I don't forget before we move on to what it does with actual changing of characters and people here. So I have this normal portrait of this woman here. You can see the lighting around her. She's just a regular girl sitting in a room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that image in for my image reference. And let's just go ahead and transform her into a warrior princess. And we'll stick with the medieval theme here. So let's go ahead and we'll make sure we tell it we want her to be the medieval warrior princess here. You will notice that over on this side, there is no place to actually choose the size that you want to come out. So it's important to remember that whatever size you put in, that's going to be your output on the image. There is one way though to alter that. I'm going to show you that here in just a second after we take a look at this. So if we look, we can tell that is certainly the same woman. She is sitting in a chair similar to how the portrait had her. She's got the warrior princess vibe with her outfit on here, but certainly the same character. So we can pretty much make her anything that we want to in here. So instead of a medieval princess, so let's say something like transform her into an explorer on an alien planet. Here's our original character, and here is our same character on an alien planet dressed as an explorer. That easy to take your character. So again, this could be a portrait of yourself. It could be a portrait of someone that you're doing work for, whether it be a client or someone else. It can be an AI generated portrait like the one I used here. If you're someone who's into creating AI influencers, or if that's your thing, it is definitely doable inside of Nano Banana here. So let's jump in now to talk about what happens when you add multiple things to the image reference here and how you can kind of put everything together to make one cohesive image. And I'll tell you a quick trick about how to make it the size you actually want it to be. So if I come in, I've already uploaded some things here. So you can see here, I've got a woman, I've got a bottle, and I've got a spell book. So let's go ahead and we will grab the woman, we will grab the bottle, and we will grab the book. So you'll notice that the book image here is actually made in a 1080 by 1080. So it is a square format on the book. Same with the bottle. It is a square format bottle. And the woman's image here is actually in a 16:9 format. We'll say something in simple natural language, like make it so the woman is holding the AI alchemy elixir bottle while the book is shown on a table near her in an ancient apothecary. And you can see that even though my woman here is in a 16:9 aspect ratio, my other two are in a 1:1 aspect. So because I put the woman first, it actually kept it in the 1:1 aspect here. Now it did include the alchemy elixir bottle and the spellbook, even though the book is floating in midair. I'm not sure how that happened, but watch what happens if I now remove the woman and I'm going to re-add her in here as the last picture. So let me go ahead and grab that. And now when I generate, you'll notice it's in 16:9 format. So that's a little bit of a trick there that I've learned after using this for a week or so, is that if you put the 16:9 at the end of your image references, it will come out in the right size. Even if you're using 9:16 or 1:1 aspect or 2:3, whatever you're using in there, it will grab the size of that last image to produce the final output. So we can see here, it lost a little bit of the actual text from the bottle here, but it did put our exact book on the table. It's got her, it didn't keep her in the same outfit. It did a different outfit, but that's okay. It looks good overall anyway, and you can tell it is still the same character. So another way that I could get her to be in the actual outfit that I want her to be in and still be the size that I need it to be would be to resize the other image references that I want to use along with her. So, and put her back in the top position here. So if I take her and I come back in and I'm going to grab the ones I have already uploaded here that are in the 16:9 format. So if I grab the bottle again, and you'll notice that I've annotated these so that the system is aware of the objects that I'm identifying that I want in there. So by using the word bottle, it will know this is the bottle. By using the word woman, it will know this is the woman, and so on and such forth about the books here. You'll also notice that I'm using transparent backgrounds on the various objects that I want to add into the image. There's actually a reason for that. I've noticed that when I do that, it keeps the edges very crisp and clear on the objects that I'm trying to use, as opposed to having them on a white background here. I'll show you that in just a second. So let's go ahead and we'll grab the bottle, and I will also grab the book again with the white background, but in the 16:9. And then you'll see if I generate that, because I've put her in the front position. So there is some logic to how you want to upload your image reference images as you go, because certain things are going to be more easily brought in. Let's get rid of wearing the same outfit because it seems to be tripping the system up, and we'll just put her in the front. We'll go ahead and generate that. And you can see now that it did create our character wearing the exact outfit she had on, with the alchemy elixir bottle in her hand and the book on the table. So that just goes to show you how you can reorder these a little bit to come out properly based on what features you want to have. So you can see that by adding her at the end of the prompt, it changed her outfit. It didn't keep her exactly as I wanted it. But when I put her at the number 1 spot in here, it works much better. So let's go ahead, and I have an example here where I'm going to pull in a few images. So I've already put these in here as well. So let's grab this orb. We'll grab this bottle. We'll grab this scroll. We'll grab this alchemy machine. We'll grab this book. Now you'll notice I'm choosing images that have a lot going on in the image. We'll also choose, let's go with this woman. Again, notice I'm putting her in the final position, so her outfit probably won't be exactly the same, but it will come out in the size output that I need it to. So I'm going to go ahead and put a prompt in here, and I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can prompt this to actually get it to work properly when you're adding so many different images into one thing here, especially with like a fantasy type realm here. So the first prompt is just how you normally see a lot of prompts, or you might have created prompts inside of Leonardo or any image generator, just kind of putting everything all together here into the prompt. Another way you can prompt for Nano Banana is to put in the scene setup. So you'll see I have the scene setup, the subject plus the environment. I have which one is the main character, and I have the artifacts listed separately so that it understands what I'm trying to accomplish here. So I can go ahead and generate that. And then another way, a lot of people always try to prompt these new systems, especially people who are familiar with coding, is by using JSON. So if I come in and I put in a JSON prompt for this, I can go ahead and generate that as well. And you'll see that all 3 of them. But let's take a look at the first prompt. So we can see it is definitely our main character. She is still holding the objects that she had in her hand. And this hand is a little jacked up there. So I'd have to do some inpainting on the canvas editor to fix that hand up. I'd probably get rid of the little paintbrush and the crystal here as well. But if you've worked with the AI image generation tools, you know it is rarely perfect on the first go. You do still have to do some editing, which is why it makes me laugh when people say that this isn't a real art medium here as far as the AI image generation, because trust me, it takes a lot to actually get a good AI project put together and to make it really stand out as a piece. So it takes hours and hours of editing and generating to get just the right image. So don't listen to the haters when they say that what you're learning and what you're doing with this AI art generation isn't really art, because it is. Trust me. You're an artist with your words, you're an artist with the way that you edit your images, the quality of work you put out. So if no one else sees your art, I see you. I think it's cool and I think you should keep going. Here's the second one where we put in more of the scene setup. So you can see it did not carry over our things as well. It tried to do the orb here. It got the machine right back here, but the scroll is wrong. There is no book. It made it more of kind of like a futuristic hologram type place. Not big on that one. And then for the JSON prompt, here we go, the big machine. It pulled in the book a little bit, but the image is so cut off here that it's really not what I was going for. So as far as how I choose to prompt inside of Nano Banana here as a Leonardo model, I find that prompting it with just natural language in a way that I would prompt for any image itself has worked best. If you have any tips or tricks on how you're getting these images to all pull in together very well, feel free to share them in the comments. So one last thing I want to talk about inside of Leonardo before I show you Nano Banana in Pixverse is that you can take an image, and you've probably seen a lot of the viral content going around where people are making like miniatures of themselves or puppets or whatever it is. So let's go ahead and just take this selfie here, this woman in the park, and we'll put in a prompt like turn the woman into a tiny detailed figurine standing on a wooden desk stylized as the collectible toy. Soft lighting from a window surrounded by small objects like pins and a coffee cup for scale. So you'll see that when I generate that, no matter what picture of the woman I use here or any woman I use here, so for example, I'll just grab this one and we can go with a more interesting take on the character here with this one. You can see that it literally takes that exact character. Here's the girl that took the selfie in the park as a miniature little figurine on the desk with the big cup of coffee behind her, so we can tell just how tiny she is in this figurine. Same with our woman from the Field of Wildflowers here. You can see she's got her little dress on, but she's definitely a doll standing on the table. And again, with our more vibrant, standout-ish type woman here, and it brings in a little bit of that image back here to bring in more color and vibrancy as well. A little bit messier, you got some lipstick or something on the coffee cup here, but that is how people are creating those viral things here. You could also, like, I've seen a lot of people turning them into puppets, so let's just turn somebody into a puppet together. How about this woman? We've used her a lot. Let's see how she comes out as a puppet. And you can see, because she was generated in this size output, that's what I'm getting out here. Oh, that didn't work so well. That kind of just made her creepy with some strings coming in. So let's refine that prompt a little bit. So turn the woman into a puppet was not a winning prompt on this, but if I come in and I'll choose the same woman again, I'll put in a more detailed natural language prompt here. And there we go. We can see now that it has turned her into a almost like Muppet like puppet style here. Kind of weird how her body still looks very human, but you get the overall gist of how people have been doing that. If you've been seeing those trending, that's how they're doing it. So you can do it too. Before I jump into Pixverse, let me just show you some of my favorite transformations that I've done over the last couple of days.
In a world where tech is rising with a guiding light, unraveling the mysteries, AI in our sight. From the code to the cloud, we're breaking through the night. With knowledge and power, we ignite the spark so bright. We are the real AI agents.
Okay, so that was all pretty cool, right? You can make stuff just like that. If you have any questions about prompting or how to achieve whatever it is you're trying to do and you want my help, feel free to drop it in the comments and I'll give you the best advice or help I can. All I ask in return is that you remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hey, share it with a friend or two if you think that they might be interested in generative AI tools. So now let's talk about how it has been integrated into Pixverse here. So you'll see that on the top here, on the Explore page, under the agent, we can see the little banana, which tells us that it was made using the Nano Banana inside of here. All you have to do to use that agent for yourself is come right over here to where it says agent and new, or you can do this try now from the main screen. And when you come over to Creative Companion here, you can put in an image and then modify the image from there using Nano Banana. So let's go ahead and drag in. Let's do this backyard here. And all we have to do is tell it what our idea is, and it will actually help us to make the right prompt to achieve that. So let's say let's just try something like the backyard is transformed to be full of alien flora. Now you can see that it's analyzing the image here. It's thinking about how it would best do that. And now what we can do is hit use prompt here, and you can see that it's pulling in our image and it's telling it what it wants to change about that image. So if I change this over here, I don't want 360, I want 1080. So the credit cost is going to be 80 tokens, but I can go ahead and create that. And we can see now that it took that first image there and it grew alien flora right inside of the garden in the video. So you're taking that original world and really transforming it inside of here using those prompts from your agent companion. Another way that you can use it is they have a ton of templates over here that you can use. I know I mentioned earlier that I have a Leonardo video coming out soon about all the new updates that they've done recently. I also have a Pixverse V5 coming out. I've learned a lot of tips and tricks in the time that I've generated hundreds and hundreds of videos since they've released V5. So I'm going to be sharing those with you in the Pixverse video. So keep an eye out for that as well. Definitely recommend getting in and trying Pixverse. All the new templates are really cool. V5 is really cool. I love using Fusion. You've seen me do it before. You'll see me do it again. If you want to check out some other cool examples of how people are using Nano Banana inside of Pixverse, I recommend coming over to their X over here and you can see some really cool things that people have done. You've got some cool cat things happening here. So I highly recommend going and checking them out, giving them a follow. I saw something the other day. Yeah, here it is. So they're 100 million users strong already. If you're not one of those 100 million people and you're a creator interested in using generative AI, you should certainly be checking out Pixverse. It is my go-to for video generation. A little bit of a caveat here. I am part of their creator program, but they don't pay me or anything like that to tell you guys how much I love them. I just really find it easiest to use Pixverse to get those difficult shots done when it comes to doing my videos. So hopefully that helps you as well. I hope that you are feeling inspired today by what you've seen. I hope that you go and revisit some of your old AI images or some of your photographs and pull them into Leonardo and change them up with Nano Banana. I'd love to see what you're working on. So if you have a project that you've recently released or that you're interested in me taking a look at, I would love for you to leave it down in the comments. I know I've been slacking on videos these last couple of weeks for you guys, but that's because behind the scenes, I've been doing a lot of work to get things together so that we can do more videos more often in the future. I just want to say thank you for spending some time with me today, for helping the channel grow. My name's Jessica with the Real AI Agents. And as always, keep looking towards the future.